Within the competitive ecosystem of Bleeding Blades, the user known as Unsullied occupied a tier of his own. He was defined by a specific, high-intensity playstyle, combining frame-perfect combos with a defensive guard that seemed impossible to crack. That reputation for excellence began to unravel as a series of leaked Discord logs began circulating through the game's private community servers. Reports from the Arena Hub server detailed behavior that had nothing to do with competitive integrity. Multiple players shared accounts of interactions that started with a duel and ended with disturbing personal demands. Unsullied used the arena as a mechanism for discovery, leveraging his status as a top-tier player to identify and pressure specific individuals. He focused his attention on players wearing specific cute or novice cosmetics, visual cues he used to find users who were likely younger or less experienced with the community's social dynamics. The initial contact was always framed as mentorship. He invited these targets to private VIP servers, promising to teach them the advanced mechanics required to reach the top of the leaderboards. Once the target was isolated from the public lobby, he introduced bizarre conditions for the session. He ordered players to unequip their armor and demanded they activate their webcams, claiming he needed to monitor their real-life reactions to read their combat intent. He replaced sparring with repetitive, non-combat tasks. He forced his students to cycle through specific emotes, perform dances on command, and change their avatar's appearance to his exact specifications. This loop of commands functioned as a test of obedience. By forcing players to engage in these rituals, he effectively established a hierarchy where his commands superseded the actual rules of the game. The environment shifted as he moved these sessions to the alleyway map, utilizing its dark corners and crates to further the sense of isolation. To maintain control over a player named WolfieBoy88, Unsullied claimed he was demonstrating a health glitch. He instructed the player to turn their back to him and remain perfectly still, claiming movement would break the exploit. While the player was immobilized, Unsullied forced a final act of submission. He required the victim to type "I am powerless" into the chat, documenting the moment while they were unable to move or defend themselves. This was a systematic practice. He maintained a local folder on his computer titled Trophies, where he archived dozens of screenshots showing players in these exact positions of forced helplessness. The existence of these archives proves his goal was the permanent, documented psychological subjugation of other players. He expanded this control through the Crimson Order, a guild he marketed as an elite fighting force, but operated as a closed, high-control group. His trial by fire induction involved mandatory one-on-one voice calls. During these sessions, he interrogated new recruits for personal data, logging their real names, their schools, and their physical locations. When a high-ranking member named Exile King attempted to leave, Unsullied utilized this collected data to launch a harassment campaign. He tracked the defector across different game servers for weeks, using his guild members to surround and emote at the player wherever he went. His final demonstration of influence occurred at the summit of the Dragon's Crown map, gathering his most loyal inner circle for a show of force. Through a distorted audio feed, he addressed the 5 players, stating that true loyalty required the total abandonment of their own will. On his signal, all 5 players stepped off the ledge simultaneously. They committed mass in-game suicide, falling to the bottom of the map as a tribute to his authority. This event confirmed that Unsullied had successfully converted a digital hobby into a functioning cult of personality, centered entirely on his own ego. Following the Dragon's Crown incident, a collective of former victims began cross-referencing their screenshots and chat logs. They presented a massive dossier of evidence to the game's developers, leading to an immediate and permanent hardware ban for Unsullied. The fallout revealed the massive gap between the community's perception of an elite gamer and the reality of a person who used those skills to facilitate abuse. He weaponized the game's social systems, treating the combat mechanics as a delivery system for mental warfare against teenagers and children. This case highlights how anonymous digital spaces provide a unique form of cover. Trusted avatars and high skill levels can easily mask the intentions of a predator operating in plain sight. The name Unsullied is now a warning for the community. It represents the specific danger that exists when we allow digital prestige to blind us to interpersonal red flags. The most significant threats in these environments are the players who bypass the game entirely to exploit the trust of those around them.